What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the Overthinking Media podcast. I'm your host, Michael. Rewind.
Are you keeping that in?
Rewind. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the Overthinking Media podcast. I'm your host, Harry, filling in for Michael this week. As per usual, I'm joined by our resident digital paleontologist, John. And our first-time guest, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
And returning guest, Disney is an obsession I might need therapy for, Kate. So this week and next week, Mike's on his honeymoon, and I hope he has a good time. So I just want to take a second to thank everyone who filled out our online feedback form as well. We're going to make some changes to our content in response to that. So how's everybody?
Tired.
What's
Crying.
been... What? Crying?
Crying
right,
from
sure.
laughter, yeah.
Yeah, great, cheers. It's only my first time. It's just straight down the pan.
That's alright.
So
what we expect.
What's everyone been watching, doing, reading, eating, drinking?
The Office, US Office.
Yep, that's a great show.
I've binged it.
You have.
Had you not seen it before?
No, I have seen it before,
right, okay.
but I just put aside. Kate started watching it, and I just sit down and start watching it, and the next thing I know, 5 episodes later, it's 1:30.
When Netflix is like, are you sure? Are you still watching this? You're like,
Amazon.
how dare you? Yes.
Amazon just stops it. It makes you get up to turn the Xbox controller back on or the remote. So The Office, and that's about it. That's what I'm watching.
I'm probably going to say something a little bit controversial here, but I've never actually seen the American Office. I know the U2 rave about it.
It's not
and
controversial.
I know
Very
that
good show.
I need to watch it.
It's not controversial. You're just, life is incomplete.
Oh, well, you say that, but...
That's what she said.
Oh, dear.
Did you hear about Venom? The Venom movie, the really not so good Venom. Well, I've seen Venom now, and it's yeah.
It's not bad.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to
It's
see
okay.
it, but it's got okay reviews from what it's
Villains were trash. Anytime a villain was on the screen, man, I was bored. Anytime Tom Hardy and Venom was on the screen, I was quite entertained.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy acted his ass off.
Have you heard about what's been in the news this week, though? That this film has made more money than Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's made
Not
more
yet. Not
globally.
globally.
It's made more money than Wonder Woman,
Really?
and it's made more money than Deadpool, because
Wow.
over in China they advertised this film. The main advertising campaign was centered around Venom being a really good, reliable boyfriend, and it made a fortune over there.
You're joking.
Oh my god.
So
that's
we're gonna get the trilogy. We're gonna get the 2 sequels based on weird advertising campaign in China. Which
Well, I suppose it can only get better. If there's only okay reviews, you can hope that it will get better.
what's the sequel going to be like? Though, is like Tom Hardy and Venom going to be holding hands,
Well, it might be on the advertisement.
having a cuddle? It's like,
I've set up the sequel. It's just the issue is the whole.
it's
Spider-Man.
going to be marriage counselling or
I
don't.
Carnage. Did he not stay after the credits?
Right. So I'm going to get in trouble for this. I was watching it with George. The credits come up, and I was like, "Oh man, I haven't seen any form of Carnage. They're gonna tease Carnage. Carnage is the Venom villain.
Yeah.
Carnage is gonna be there." So the first bits of credits roll up, and I'm just there waiting. She gets up and turns off the telly. I'm like, "What are you doing?" So I had to look it up on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah. So Cletus Cassidy is being played
Woody Harrelson,
Woody Harrelson, which is great.
The-
The thing that you made me laugh at is you said Carnage is Venom villain.
Well,
Venom is a villain.
no, but
Yeah.
he's Venom's main antagonist.
He's his kid.
Oh God, right, okay,
Carnage is Venom's kid.
right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it reminded me of the superhero films back when they started becoming a thing. So let's say it was very reminiscent of Daredevil.
Yeah,
little bit.
the mid 2000s.
The mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So you had the Spider-Man films, which I rewatched recently.
The
One and
the
two.
Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't hold up
The first
too
one
well.
certainly
They're
doesn't.
not.
Doc Ock is still a great
Mhm.
bad guy. He could be
If 1 and 2 don't hold up well, I'm never ever going to watch 3 again then.
no freeze no. But again, the X-Men films still hold up though, apart from the third one.
Close. They still look very. They look dated.
They look dated.
They do, and
it is hard to keep a 20-year-old series.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah.
How it looks dated.
And have you seen the teaser trailer for Toy Story 4?
Yes.
Which one?
So the only one I've seen is the one where, like, I was a bit bored by it and was not that surprised. Like, it was a bit where it's like that slow music and they're all dancing around each other.
Yeah.
And at the end, that spork.
Yeah.
I'm not really a toy.
No, have a look at the picture. The detail on all of that. He's got glitter glue around his eyes, and there's loads. Like, if you look at Woody, there's loads of like smudges on his belt. Because obviously he's getting old, he's getting worn, and stuff. There is another one though, and it's
I'm assuming they're going to be the villains.
It's like
it's too stuffed
Wait,
toy.
Wait, what?
What?
You just skipped about 8
No, there's a second teaser
there's a
trailer.
second
Right.
teaser.
Yeah, but we were talking about the first
Yeah.
teaser trailer with the spork.
So who's going to be the villains?
Yeah,
Right.
so there's another teaser trailer,
Yes.
and it's like 2 teddy bears and
Oh no, I have seen that.
yeah,
Rabbit and the duck.
yeah.
I have not, and I will be watching that later because it's Toy Story.
It's them mocking Woody and
Yeah.
Buzz, but they're getting
Yeah.
it wrong and
Woody
very
and-
close to being not PG. For one of the things he says. What is it?
They're very they're very stereotyped character, a bit like
They
Skids
are.
and Mudflap from Transformers.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Very close to that line. Yeah.
They're even the same colours, aren't they?
Oh, green and pink. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm going to be devastated when that film comes out. Next year is going to be a very upsetting time for me. in
Disney
cinema.
have got the market. on
Ne-
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Next
Oh,
next year is
God,
Captain
yeah.
Marvel, Avengers 4, the live action Lion King, the live action Aladdin, Toy Story 4, and then something else. And I
In
didn't-
regards to that, there's been a lot of uproar about them labelling The Lion King live action
right,
because
Well-
it is not live action.
I know, but the last ones, all the ones that they're doing now, they've labelled them all live
Live
action,
action.
and a lot of them have had CGI in
Yeah,
them
they've
for
had
certain
CGI,
things,
but
but this
they've
is
also-
obviously going to be fully CGI because you cannot.
There's no
not
people.
have-
I reckon there's going to be some shots of live action animals in there.
What,
Yeah.
just eating things on the side?
Well,
Yeah.
they've probably got some live action wildlife footage. You know, the lions that they're using as the characters are probably real lions. But you know, that Simba is probably a real cub they've got, and they've just
A lion in a mocap suit.
Oh.
right. We laugh now. When that film comes out, there's a making of documentary, and it's a
Yeah.
lion with little white dots,
Oh.
little ping pong balls all
I'd
over
love
him.
to have that
Yes,
job
you
of
will
just
be able to
putting
tell
it
us you
all
told
on
us.
him.
Oh yeah, because that person.
He'd be a little tiger though.
It's going to be like the raptor trainers. Why is this job empty? Because someone put white little dots on the lion.
Oh, so you found out Stan Lee died of a heart attack.
Oh,
So it's been confirmed. It was like general old age heart attack. And then about a minute ago, we found out that Steven Hillenburg, the guy who made SpongeBob SquarePants, or as John called him, the SpongeBob SquarePants guy, had died at 57. We don't know what of, but more of a hero to maybe people younger than us.
I think
SpongeBob
it's
is-
the generation where we were coming out
Out
of
of
watching
yeah.
Nickelodeon.
I'm so glad you said coming out and watching Nickelodeon, and I thought we were going to stop with coming out. Bloody hell, John.
Coming out. SpongeBob is.
He's very
20
old.
years?
It's something similar to
Did
that.
they
It's
bring
been-
out a
98?
movie in 2000 or something?
I think so.
That's
Is it
what-
2000?
I think so.
Really? But yeah,
yeah.
it was the generation before us.
I think
Because unfortunately we're old.
Yeah, I think that was the start of the fall of some good.
Cartoon Network. It was SpongeBob was the first.
Yeah.
No, it was
say-
on Nickelodeon.
It was on-
SpongeBob.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Like Cartoon Network was like
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog and Johnny Bravo,
And the
Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls,
Cow and Chicken.
Cow and
Yeah.
Chicken,
Yeah.
and then
Dragon Ball Z.
and then
Rocco was Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Sex
Coward
Live Work.
Coward the dog.
Coward
Coward
the Dog.
Yeah, it was. I know what you're on about.
The
Cowardly the dog.
Something,
Something,
for Cowardly
yeah,
Dog.
and it was two very old people, and they had a dog, and he was very
Surprisingly not.
scared at something.
You very clearly watched a lot more Cartoon Network than me.
Yeah,
I
very
did
We are younger
watch-
than you.
But
so-
when Cartoon
Oh, God, what
SpongeBob
was
was
his
the one that
name?
made Nickelodeon kind of take over.
Yeah.
He even had his own theme park.
Seriously?
He said the word
Well, it
dog.
was a Nickelodeon theme park hotel.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah,
That's
but-
the
Had to
one.
Google it because I couldn't think of it being Cowardly the Cowardly Dog.
Cowardly dog.
But it's like the live action stuff. Like Dumbo, fair enough. That's got people in.
That's the one.
Dumbo's
Dumbo.
gonna look. Because Dumbo's not a happy film. Dumbo
Yeah.
was one of these Disney films back in the day.
Oh, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, John's allergic to sad endings. He has a really.
I was devastated watching Dynasties on BBC.
What is that?
So Dynasties is basically it's David Attenborough's new wildlife documentary, and it follows the story of a single animal, basically.
Yeah.
Through them, and they film them for like. So the first one was David the chimp.
Oh, I didn't see. I
David the
missed
chimp,
two
and
then.
Damn. It was like a movie in itself of a documentary. So he's the alpha chimp. He gets beaten up by the younger chimps, and then comes back still injured, but beats off the younger chimps. Beats the younger chimps. Doesn't beat the
I wouldn't know. You should say that. Point it out.
And then the next one is, to be honest, last week's was just
Emperor Penguins.
Emperor Penguins. You don't want to go to the Antarctic because it's sad.
It's also very, very sad.
And then this week showed was the Lions. It wouldn't be a documentary, but it was showing this pride where the men had fecked off. So it was the leader of the pride was the oldest female lioness, and she was looking after 8 cubs.
Yeah,
and it was devastating because her cousin was helping her do it. Then her cousin gets killed, so she's on her own with like technically 8 kids. So then her oldest daughter.
Sorry, are we talking about a lion pride or a Tipton Council estate?
It was literally this was what it was.
It was, yeah. It was a lion pride.
Humans poison the pride.
Yeah.
So she has to leave her son, and then she's filmed away, and she looks behind as she has to walk away because she's obviously got 7 other kids to look after, and her oldest daughter becomes like the second in command to help her mom, even though she's still too young.
Yeah.
And then she manages to get the cub men, old enough to go, so they can go off and start their own pride.
Yeah.
And then as this happens, 2 new males come in and chase off all the kids.
Yeah. It was
So it's like
it was sad.
it was really sad. Now it ended with her having, because it's dynasties and them fulfilling their legacy basically.
Yeah.
But it ended quite happy with 2 new cubs.
Yeah.
Very, very cute.
Who were very cute.
What's this on?
This is BBC
Yeah,
One.
it'll be on
Fantastic.
iPlayer.
But
Is it every episode about a different animal?
every episode
Yeah.
Is there a penguin episode?
Last week.
Last week.
I'm going to be watching that when I get home then.
And you're
Yeah.
going to be crying your eyes out.
I doubt I will.
Oh,
No,
What's
yeah.
good?
You
What I
will.
You will.
really like about it, they did it for Blue Planet and they've done it for Planet Earth, is the last 5 minutes of how they got the shots and how they have reacted to certain things.
Oh, so you see the humans react.
see the
Oh,
human
Yeah.
Perfect.
So it's like they
Perfect, yeah.
say, like it took. I think with the penguins, they were in Antarctica. for-
Nearly a year, wasn't it?
It's like
6 months.
Yeah,
Oh,
6
6
months.
months.
They were there.
Um,
And with the Lions,
That's long
they filmed the same pride for 2 years.
So
That's
they
it.
got very like
They got
attached to
attached.
them.
But yeah, that's
Oh god, it's just it pulls on your heartstrings.
but
as
the
well.
amount of gifs and memes that were going around Twitter that were the Lion King.
Oh,
just-
Yeah.
But yeah,
It just also says like
we're being interrupted by
Sorry,
another guest.
Lola wants to get involved on the. Has anyone played anything this week? Anyone played it? It isn't Red Dead Redemption. Has anyone played anything that isn't Red Dead Redemption?
I played The Sims.
Go on.
Cluster
Sims
truck.
4,
Yeah. Go on.
and it is really hard to control on the Xbox One.
No, all Sims have been always insane to control.
I
Not on the
played
PC.
No,
not
PC
on
was
the
easy.
PC.
It was
Well-
my Sims experience was wake up, need to pee, have a cry, pee on the floor, try and get them to go to work, but they won't. Go to the kitchen, try and make food, set the house on fire, go to bed, pee, and repeat.
That's like
That
your
sounds-
daily
that sounds about
life,
like it,
yeah.
Yeah,
And your
okay.
daily life.
So it's accurate then.
But,
It is very hard on like control wise.
you've got the you got the Xbox One, and I think
Yeah.
those kind of games are always.
and you can't obviously
difficult.
put your password like your
Cheating.
Cheats.
Can't
You
put
mean-
Rosebud.
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 Yeah.
So I'm having to like.
But
get
with
the
that sort of
things
thing,
to work.
though, aren't they bringing mouse and keyboard connectivity
Compatibility,
Yes.
to
Just
Xbox One?
announced.
So if that's the case, that sort of game you'll be able to control
Yeah.
a lot
More of
easier
That'd be
through that.
better.
It's also probably a play anywhere game, I would assume. So if you can
Yeah.
get a laptop, you can just carry your cloud save over. I'd assume.
Could be. I haven't played The
I
Sims.
haven't looked
on-
into it, so but potentially because that's what Microsoft is doing with a lot of games, which is fantastic.
I find real life hard enough to control, let alone the life of some fake Sim. I did once play the knockoff game, the Playboy game, which was essentially The Sims with sex. That was a
That was the
Sims
thing.
has sex in there.
Yeah.
no. This, okay.
Oh, you actually got to see
Whoa.
sex.
Yes. and I was like,
Let's go, woohoo.
it was only a £5 game, or I'll get it, but I bought it like sandwiched between two manly shooter games so that no one could see. And I was like, I'll play this for 5 minutes, see what it's like. 2 weeks later,
He is Hugh Hefner. Harry Hefner.
so you played Cluster Truck, Tom.
I played, so on Saturday I decided to have a break from Red
Yeah,
Dead, and I played a few
I'm
games.
there, yeah.
So I played, went back and played Cuphead,
Right.
which I'll talk about later.
Oh, right, yeah.
Um,
Carry on.
Then Cluster Truck, which I did the first level really, it was just so addictive.
Explain what Cluster Truck is.
Cluster Truck is basically, you've got to jump from truck to truck to get to the finish line. It's basically a race to see how quick you can get to the finish line, but you have to land on a truck.
So
But
yeah,
the trucks
it's
are
like
moving, and they don't move in the same direction every time.
so it's like you're running along a fleet of trucks.
Running
a bit
along
like,
a fleet
a bit
of
like the
trucks.
end of the Matrix Reloaded on the highway scene. You've got to get to the end along all the trucks. Yeah.
And it surprisingly requires a lot of skill.
Yes.
I got to the last level of the forest, which is the second game area.
Yeah.
But, and then I also played the last Geometry Wars as well, which has a 3D element in it now. Instead of having like your screen is just your play area, and you have loads of different things attacking
I
you.
had like a giant sausage.
You had
Oh,
a giant sausage. You had
it's
a
like
circle.
asteroids, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like you're a little dot shooting over little coloured shapes.
The
Yeah.
Geometry Wars evolved, I think it's called now. It was like a circle, and so things could be spawning on the other side. I wouldn't have any idea until they came around the horizon.
Right.
But yeah, Cluster Truck was fun. I tried to play it the next day, but I think it was one of those games that alcohol helped.
Yes.
But yeah, so Saturday I had a good gaming session. Got a few achievements in that, and then went back to the Wild West, which I'm still not finished.
I've had a break from
I
Red Dead.
have finished. I've hit the credits, but as in all games, you can go back and do bits and pieces. That's not
That's
really
all
a
you're going to
spoiler.
be saying.
Yes.
So, and that is where I'll leave that because people are still playing it.
We'll probably do a bit of a Red Dead bum session when the online's, which is like the online's out like
The online came out today.
Yeah,
Today?
for
Beta.
for people who bought the game and played it on release. It came out today. It's
I should
tomorrow.
have it then.
It's
Tomorrow.
Friday for us.
No, I pre-ordered
tomorrow
it
for
the
me.
day before.
Oh.
I did
You as
pre-order
well?
through the Xbox
Look,
Live.
if you bought it digitally on Xbox within the couple of days of its release, you'll be able to play online tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Not the
I do have a question in regards to online. When's the Bastion being released for Rainbow Six? New operator.
No, the new season. Not a clue.
Win Bastion. 'Cause
Not a clue.
I was just wondering if it was this week
Not a
to
clue.
combat Red Dead.
We'll probably have a bit of a.
It's championship. I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head, but they've had that.
Yeah, it's on the test server.
So it's on the test server. I've been receiving tweets, so I know it's got to be coming soon within
We'll
the
have
next week or two. I'd say.
Well, my next weekend will just be one game entirely. Well, my Saturday evening till late will be one game entirely because Smash Brothers comes out next Friday.
Yeah.
So I've already had the invite to go play that at least two places.
Right.
So-
Make sure you do Captain Falcon justice.
Like you'll play Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon is the only good Smash Brothers character.
No. Link.
And anything anybody says is wrong.
Link.
No, it just no. If you have to play as anyone but Captain Falcon, you're just bad at the game. It's just that, and that's all
from
we.
you.
And as the host, that's all we're going to say.
You've not won one.
I'm the host. Let me do the.
Actually, hold on. Yeah.
let me do the mic clicking the fingers. That's the end of the discussion.
How many times have you won?
Quite a few actually. It used to be that I never won, but more recently, the more recent times we played it, I've won a good
He
one or
has
two
won
matches.
recently, but
Oh,
compared
recently.
to me as Pikachu, no, he hasn't.
That's because you sit there and spam, a
Spam
button.
down and B.
It's a legitimate strategy. It's like sniping.
Sniping is it? You mean camping?
Yes, I do
Yes.
mean camping.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing, and I haven't seen you guys playing much games this week anyway.
No, I've been Red Deading, and I've been hitting my face against the screen and rolling my face over a keyboard with WoW. So yeah,
That's all.
Talking of Blizzard, have you heard about the Diablo thing that happened at Blizzard?
Oh yes,
Diablo.
I did.
Diablo, whatever.
That WoW.
So okay, I like this.
Yeah.
This video. If you haven't seen this video, go and watch it because it's soul destroyingly cringy. So for people who don't know what this is, Diablo is a game from Blizzard. Blizzard, the people who make World of Warcraft. Yeah, it was from like late 90s. They made Diablo.
The original.
Diablo.
Diablo, the
Diablo.
original. 3 came out.
3 came out.
Ooh,
maybe
4
years ago.
4 years ago now.
So
Yeah.
over the course of the last 4 years, they've kept re-releasing Diablo 3 on like multiple platforms. Diablo.
And they've released expansions.
Yeah, and the kind of the fan base, the rabid fan base, like we want a new one. We want Diablo 4, Diablo, whatever. We want the 4th one. So at BlizzCon this year, BlizzCon is Blizzard's big yearly event where they do all the World of Warcraft, the Overwatch stuff. They finished the event on a Diablo kind of section, and the crowd were really excited. You could feel like we were watching the conference.
Everyone's
buzzing.
ready.
We've got a big announcement for you. There's a new Diablo game on mobile, and you could just hear
Like the souls just
Soul destroying of
Just
these fans.
deafening silence from the crowd, and then they have a Q&A, and one person in the crowd says, gets up and legitimately asks, "Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?" And the response was, "Well, we're not going to go to PC. You all have mobiles, don't you? You can all play." And then the crowd start booing them.
Yeah.
Their big announcement, it's so like they're still on stage smiling away, and everyone's booing it. It's just so cringy.
I'm sure it would be.
That episode of The Office, we watched it, when Michael, they say, you need to come and we need to have this big press conference. It's when they're sort of like losing money. And they're like, they're closing down the business, and they're all there, and they're like, so what are you going to do to keep our jobs? And Michael's like, we're going to make more money, we're going to do this, and they're all cheering and everything. And then they come out, he's like, I'm lying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel that this Diablo game may actually be alright on the mobile, but
It's not what people
it's
want.
not what they want.
No.
Everyone wants number 4.
Yeah.
I've never played it though, so
No,
I
I
played
can't.
the original one, but it's not my.
I think
it's
Neverwinter
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Neverwinter?
No,
What
no.
kind of game is it?
It's basically you've got, depending on what
Is it a
type you play.
Version?
It's it's a little bit of top down. It's RPG, and it's I think you've got one life.
Like
is
Halo
it?
Spartan Assault, that kind of type.
It's that kind of camera angle, but
Yeah.
you click to move, and then you click on the enemies to attack them.
Yeah, attacks.
If
and
you've ever seen the
spells
original
and stuff.
Fallout, it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
So whilst we're on the subject of talking about killing enemies, this week's topic, we're going to talk about the best and worst video game boss battles.
Or fights.
Or fights. Boss battles. Fights are the same
Just
thing.
boss
They're
fights.
well-
The normal thing is boss fights,
Sure.
not boss battles.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Terminology.
That helped. So I think for mine to start off with, I think mine is probably one of the most famous examples. Which, okay, so check this out. You've probably not heard this. John had never heard of this. I hope you've heard of this. when I say
Okay.
the name.
Yeah.
Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
I've heard of Psycho Mantis with Metal Gear Solid, but unfortunately, I've never been a huge fan of the Metal Gear
Right.
franchise, so I've never really played them.
But do you know what's significant about this boss battle?
I don't
Are we
because
cheating?
obviously I've never played it, so
God, right,
I've never
okay.
looked into it. I know of it,
Right.
but I
But you
don't.
cheated to do this boss.
No.
That's what you said previously.
No. We'll get to that one. It's Metal Gear, you're right, but it's not this particular one.
Okay.
So Psycho Mantis is the boss from the first game.
Right.
And you go through the entire game, playing the game like normal. When you get to him, you can't beat him. No matter what you do, he's impossible to beat. But but when you have the kind of opening cutscene, he tells you to put your controller on the floor, and he'll move it with his mind. So you put the controller on the floor, and this was back when rumble features were brand new. So he makes the controller rumble, it makes it move across the floor, and you're like, "Whoa, this guy's insane!" And then he starts reading your memory card. He kind of reels off how many times you've saved the game. He goes, "Oh, I see you like playing Castlevania or whatever other games you've got saved." He'll start reading your memory card, reading your mind, and no matter what you do, you can't beat him until you take the controller and plug it into the second port, and then you just wipe the floor with him, which is one of the most famous video game bosses because he was the first one to ever physically use the console itself as part of the game mechanic.
Yeah.
Really quite very fascinating game lore. That one, John. Your first one.
Yeah.
Well, my first one is it's one of the most frustrating boss fights, and I don't think I actually ever beat him.
Right.
And it was Kingdom Hearts 1, and it was
Ansem.
in... No.
Really?
It was Sephiroth.
Oh no, that in the Hercules arena.
In the Hercules arena, it was Sephiroth, because, well, he was just solid.
You didn't have Donald or Goofy as well. Am I right in thinking you had to do it on your own?
I can't remember it because I played it recently, but I didn't get that far. I didn't go for the 100% completion like I did on the PlayStation 1. But it was just everything you did, and then you got into so many bars down, so he had the maximum amount of bars of health, and then you got him so many bars down, and then he'd change, and then he'd teleport, and then he'd change again, and then this and that, and it was literally 2 attacks and you're dead.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I remember.
You'd get so far, and you'd see the green on the last bar appearing, and it'd be oh, and then you die, and then you'd have to start all over again. So I think the longest I fought him was probably 45 minutes once, and it was kind of you know what, give up. And
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and I've never beat him, and it was just, and it wasn't even a boss related to the story. Which was fine. It was just a side secret boss that you had to have beat all the people in the arena first, and you don't actually have to beat everyone in the arena to finish the game. It was just to get a special Keyblade.
Yeah.
I think it was the Colosseum Keyblade, and then you use the Colosseum Keyblade to try and help you beat Sephiroth. I could be completely wrong, but it was just... And the music from Final Fantasy was in it, and it was
Sephiroth!
And it was it could be in my imagination, but every time it went Sephiroth, I flipping died. But yeah, it was the most frustrating, I think, rage-quitting moment of my PlayStation 1 time.
Kate?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of, which is a co-op, was Left 4 Dead, the boat. You know,
that
one,
final battle.
That final battle
We don't
when
have
you
to talk
all,
about that. What?
when
Getting
you're
sucked
all,
off?
yeah.
So, you're right. So
That's the only one I can think of, and it's only because I was looking up the corner and I was like, oh, Left 4 Dead's up there.
Yeah.
That was really hard.
I'm surprised. In regards to that, just quickly before you carry on, I'm surprised you didn't pick the Killer Croc one from Batman Arkham Asylum, because you had to get me to do it for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do find if I get stuck on a lot of games, I put it down, wait for John to do it, and actually, I've got another one while I think about, but I'll wait until.
We'll carry on with the Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but Left 4 Dead. The amount of times we all argued at each other, trying to get on the boats.
I don't know what problem. Wait, hang on.
And then
The amount of times you guys argued getting on the boat, I was home free and clear.
yeah.
So, we will play. It was me, you, Jenna, and Kate on that version.
Yep.
And you had gone down at the house.
Don't know what you're talking about.
So I decided to go get you. I get you up, and the next thing I know, I'm hit by the tank. And I go flying, and you're like, well, sorry, John, bye.
Bye.
So then Jenna tries to get me, dies. Kate tries to get Jenna, dies. And you get on the boat and go, bye.
Yeah, so the object of this was you had to defend a house at the side of a dock whilst you wait for a boat to come and pick you up. And whilst you're defending this house, you're getting swarmed by zombies. I think Kate and Jenna went down dead.
Yeah.
Which is me and John left. John's halfway to the boat. I go down. I scream at him to come back and get me. He does so. What a nice chap. He goes down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting on the boat. I just get on the boat and go. Sole survivor. I was the only one to get the achievement because we hadn't got that achievement yet. I was the only one to get that. Oh, he was mad.
I think we.
I can imagine. That game was infuriating.
I really want them to do a Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah,
I doubt they will, but I'd like an update of at least 2 on Xbox.
I just think if you had today, is it Days Gone, that PlayStation game that's coming out with the zombies?
Yeah, that game's not going to be like that demo.
No,
is it?
but
yeah.
I know it's not. But the amount of zombies that are on that screen in that demo,
they're all climbing over
The
each
Left
other to
4
get to
Dead,
you and
the
stuff.
Left 4
Yeah,
Dead would just be amazing.
yeah.
Because that is essentially what Left 4 Dead was when you had a swarm coming in.
Yeah.
And I'd probably piss myself.
Valve don't need the money anymore, do they?
No.
But yeah.
Matt.
Right. My favourite boss battle is probably, it's got to be Mario versus Bowser on the NES. Mainly
On the
because
NES. Blimey, the original.
this was the boss battle that got me into gaming. I played it, and that feeling of completing a game.
That was the first game you completed?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Oh,
Thanks,
well
Kate.
done. Thanks,
Cheers.
Kate.
I'll cut that out.
Yeah. But it's that completion feeling, that remembrance, and the fact that Bowser and versus Mario has just been a thing for how many years now, and it's just constantly going. Although I've not played a Nintendo for a very long time,
No.
but the last Super Mario game I played was probably N64.
Those are some good Bowser battles.
But they're great.
Is it King Bowser and Mario's?
I don't think so. No, it's the one where you have to get behind him, grab his tail, and then swing him into the bombs on the edge of the level. And as he jumps back in, he makes the level smaller.
Oh, okay. Levels getting smaller seems to be a thing now.
Yeah. But it was that original game that just pushed me into gaming, and
Isn't that the one where he throws an axe at you and you have to kind of dodge the axe, jump underneath him, and then hit a switch to lower the bridge, and he falls in the lava?
Yeah.
See, mine's the opposite to that. Obviously, Bowser and Mario were the ones that got you into gaming. Sonic and
Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
Well, that's one off my list.
Yeah, but because it was funny, because I put a post up today saying what's your favourite, and someone posted Dr. Robotnik, and I was like, thank God you said Dr. Robotnik and not bloody Eggman.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that was Dr. Robotnik and Sonic is a great battle.
I think I struggled so much with regards to, and it was very much Bowser Mario style, really, in a way. But it was the where Robotnik gets in the giant Robotnik.
Robotnik. Yes.
That's so much Robotnik.
So much Robotnik. Robotnik gets in the giant Robotnik.
Right.
At the end of the level.
Right.
And he then starts walking towards you, and the level starts disappearing. And I just found it really difficult to get on top of Robotnik,
Robotnik,
to kill him. And I think the floor disappears as well.
Yeah.
And it was just for a 8-year-old, it's really hard.
That was masterful game design. Those Robotnik, because every single Robotnik boss fight was it starts off. The first one is just him in his little ship, and the next one is him in his ship with a swingy thing. And it's him in his ship with a next thing, and it just taught you how to wind up to this big Robotnik. And I never beat Robotnik.
I don't think I did.
I couldn't get past Metal Sonic at the very end of 2. Could never get past Metal Sonic.
Past Metal Sonic, I didn't get past
Robo. Yeah.
But Bowser's obviously the classic that obviously still going now. You don't see many Robotnik
Sonics
references.
Well,
obviously he's Ed. Yeah. Why did he become Eggman? But
because he looks like an egg shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the Americans for you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
My next one is the one you were on about, which is Metal Gear again. But it's from the third one, from Snake Eater, where
the one you cheated.
Yeah, if they built it into the game, it's not really cheating, is it? So this is the end. There's like a bunch of different bosses that all had different kind of gimmicks to them, and this guy was like a really old sniper, and you got in this sniper battle with him. And to find him, you had to kind of look around for signs of where he'd been lying and try and sneak up on him. And it was supposed to be this cat and mouse game. However, this guy's ancient. He was like 80 something or whatever, and he's in a wheelchair. Apart from when you fight him, he's in a wheelchair. So instead of trying to like snipe and hunt him down and whatnot, if you went into your PlayStation settings and changed your PlayStation 2 clock about like 100 years forward and went back into the game, he just died of old age, and you could carry on the game. So I
thought it was just. I thought you were about to say that you just attacked this poor geriatric with a bat of some sort.
No,
Didn't you change it to Christmas Day?
I changed it to Christmas Day, so I believe my Raiden had a Christmas hat on. And so like the opening cutscene of the boss fight is like, oh, you're about to fight the end. You know, you've got to get in a sniper battle with him. And then the opening cutscene this time was, oh, he's just died of old age. Carry on. All right. And that's how I got through Metal Gear Solid 3. Never went back and did it properly. That was my playthrough, was waiting for a character to die of old age.
Dear. So I've got a few, and they're all in like the same genre at time that they all came out. So when I really probably started playing PlayStation 2 a lot. So it's essentially an entire game of boss battles, but Shadow of Colossus.
Oh, I just love that game so much. I just love it so much.
It's just the boss fights, because it's set. How many Colossus? It's 7.
There are. Well, I'm just looking at the thing. It says the 13th Colossus.
Yes, there is. 13th Colossus is the hardest. Yeah,
Carry
but
on.
I think that's the secret one. Something like that. But the whole game is just. And I was playing it on the PlayStation 2, so obviously I haven't played the upscaled one, but I imagine that's as beautiful as it will ever be. But then that was just great. The whole climbing up the Colossus and stabbing the Colossus and then taking down this huge thing, like you're just bitty tiny man, was great. And each Colossus had its own tactics to kill and everything, and it's just great. The others were the bosses, mainly the first boss in the first God of War, the Hydra.
Yeah.
Because it just let you know what you were in for that game.
Oh, I remember that was in the demo. Were you not
And
on
it was
a
in the
pirate
demo.
ship or something like
Yeah,
that?
you were basically you were on a ship. You'd gone down and had sex, or was that after? Where you got to control.
I only played the demo. So.
Yeah, and basically the Hydra is attacking, and it's just throwing you the scope of what this game is going to be.
It was one of the first games I remember that had your small character take on something so enormous that it was kind of like, now it's been done to death. But I think that was one of the first games where you took on massive enemies.
Yeah. And I think it was time. What's the word? Time evented takedowns. So you had to play square and X and that.
Oh, what's the name?
What's
of it?
the word? Yeah.
Wow, it's like a really famous gaming mechanic that he's overused in games.
Well, yeah.
Involving
quick
pressing
time.
quick time.
There we
Jesus.
go.
Wow, professionals we are.
Yeah. But those two games, because they were kind of like in the same era that I was playing them. They could be released completely.
No, I had them both on PlayStation 2, so they were roughly the same. Yeah.
Those two games, I still remember those now.
Yeah.
I haven't carried on playing with the God of War series, and I haven't gone back and played Shadow of Colossus. I've got The Last Guardian to play, which is the sequel to the Shadow of Colossus. But
The bird was my favourite Colossus, the one that you had to get it to swoop down, and as it swooped down, you had to jump on its wing and just hang on for sheer life.
I bet your least favourite was the crocodile or whatever it was.
It wasn't a crocodile, there was an underwater eel,
Yeah.
and that is where my my thalassophobia came from. Swimming around in the water with that thing below you, about to burst out of the water at any moment. Nope. No, thank you very much. Nope, I'll pass.
Yeah, I could go on with how many boss fights I like the Shao Kahn in...
You like that one?
No. I like it because it was hard.
So Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9.
9 and 2.
9, right, okay.
So he was just so hard to do, and it was so satisfying when you finally... But but I could just keep going on with bad guys. But
Kate?
The Scarecrow in Batman.
Yes!
Oh, yes!
Was it?
It was
Asylum.
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 That took me a while, and that was, I think,
I'm sure I
one
beat
of the
that.
ones that you didn't have to help me with.
No.
The introduction to that first Scarecrow section is amazing.
It's a bit like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with your screen?
It
And
was very reminiscent of Metal
And
Gear.
it did sort of take me quite a while to get through to him.
I remember that you
And
thought it was actually broken,
Yeah.
which I did.
Yeah.
I did. I thought my game had
I
broken.
was like, what's going on?
So-
It's broke.
For context, what happens is your game, you could have in an elevator.
Yeah.
Batman starts coughing a little bit, and then your game kind of glitches and freezes and breaks, and then it starts the opening cutscene of the game again to make you think, oh, my game's broken and reset.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the moon,
It looks
it's
different,
the
yeah.
Scarecrow's face, and then Batman and Joker have switched places, and you know.
I wonder how many people turned off their...
oh, it's going to be a lot.
I was halfway off my chair to go and do it until I noticed the moon had the Scarecrow's face on it, and then I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
a great
one.
mechanic.
And then obviously Killer Croc,
Mm.
that was very, very annoying.
terrifying. You're running along that like
It wasn't terrifying.
floating
but
platform.
It's just...
What do you mean it wasn't terrifying? It was like he was hiding under the water.
Yeah,
Which
but-
for Harry is
Yeah, that's
terrifying.
terrifying for you.
You're running
That's-
along floating platforms, trying to make as little noise as possible
Yeah.
to collect or break some form of spore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to get the spore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poison ivy or something.
And if you're too noisy, he bursts out of the water
Yeah.
and destroys you. Yep. Nope. Pass 1,000 times over. I know I did it myself, but pass.
I did have, I can't remember what she's talking about, because Jenna put a post on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can literally talk about days about this, obviously, boss fights. And she said there's one that you should say is your least favourite, and if it's not mentioned, I'll be disappointed in you all. So, does anyone know what that is?
Our least favourite as a group.
I know exactly what someone is going to say for the least favourite, and if it's not mentioned, I'll be disappointed. Their least favourite boss.
So moving on to Cracker then.
Yeah.
Whilst I have a think.
Yeah, you ever think about that? Favourite boss battles? It's got to be
Or least.
favourite. Well, Harry has.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
I have to say that it's got to be. Now, I don't think any of you guys would have played it. It's Arthas, the Lich King, out of World of Warcraft, mainly because of the amount of lore going from
I wasn't
Warcraft.
high enough level to join you.
Going from Warcraft 3, where you've got the beginning of all the lore, and it's just beating him was just amazing. And he is actually one of the characters that every week, because of one of the drops he has, people still go back and they still beat him day in, day out. And it's just one of those. It'll always stay with me for beating him because he was amazing. But yeah.
So let's talk about Invisibitch. For God's sake. So this boss fight was on Deus Ex Human Revolution. This was a game where it was like first person, third person stealth shooter. And you used a lot of like hacking you could get through levels, stuff, hacking and whatnot.
I tried it, didn't like it.
But all the boss fights forced you into full on combat. So it's kind of the only downfall in this game critically was this.
You couldn't skip them.
All the boss fights were just, you had to have lots of ammo and all these damaging weapons. So if you went in with just tasers and like stealth weapons, you were never going to beat
You're
them.
going to say Sudoku.
I can't beat you, so I'm going to confuse you with maths. No, so there was a boss. It was a bit like the Metal Gear, where you were introduced to this team, and as you go through the game, each boss fight has a little different gimmick to it.
Yeah.
And it was a game about humans being augmented with machinery.
Yeah.
So this lady named Yelena Fedora, she was an electrical based enemy, so she could electrocute you and whatnot, which stunned you and made your screen go all annoyingly jagged. And she was also had invisible. She could cloak. So the only way to find her was to look at your radar when she blipped upon the radar and look and shoot at her. This was some number of hours into the game, and I hadn't noticed that I had a radar. So I spent hours running around trying to collect ammo, trying to shoot. I was shooting everywhere. Walls. There was water on the floor, and you could sometimes see her footprints splashing through the water. So I was like, that's it. So I'm looking at the floor. Where are the footprints? And there was someone in the background going, "This is on the map. She's there." There's like little red dots appearing on my map that I'm just not paying any attention to. Hours and hours and hours. The first time I used the radar, beat it straight away. So yeah, sod Invisibitch. Sodder.
I think I beat her first time, but I was playing on easy to just try and get through the story because you said it was such a good story.
I was playing on bloody easy.
I just he would have been able to do it easy if he'd realised there was a radar.
I couldn't. Yeah. The Invisibitch. Yeah. Kate.
It's not really a boss, but it is an enemy in Murdered Soul Suspect.
Oh right, yeah. This game scared me too much, so I couldn't go near it.
Really, it's a brilliant game.
I've 100%ed it. Never played it.
Really?
I had someone do it for me. Yeah.
I just remember you're in the house and you're obviously spoiling the game a little bit. You are a police officer. You've died. You're trying to obviously go onto the afterlife, but you can't because you're trying to find your killer, and you have to do loads of different quests to help other people. And you're in this house, and you have got these like Dementor type characters,
I remember seeing them. Yeah.
and you're in the house, and you have to sort of make sure that you're not detected.
Mm.
And if you go up behind them, you can like defeat them. But you have to, a bit like Killer Croc, you have to be silent about it, because as soon as they can sense you're there, they turn around and they just destroy you.
I saw that bit.
Yeah,
and I was
that
like,
was not very nice.
enough of that for me.
And that took me, because they're like on 3 floors of this house, and you have to try and get through to all of them and find different things. And it takes a good couple of hours to do it without getting like duped perfectly.
Oh.
But it's a case if you have to walk, it's literally you walk through a wall and you go, yep, no, go back out there, and
Yep.
then you go through, and then there's one waiting for you the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the only other one that I can think of that you two have not mentioned, the alien from Aliens.
We don't talk about that game.
I
talk-
wouldn't say
Why
that.
did they not talk
I
about that
wouldn't
game,
say that
Kate?
that's a
Yeah.
boss.
No.
I'd say that's a torture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the game
It
itself.
is the game. The game is an entire boss fight,
Yeah.
and as the alien doesn't appear till chapter 5 anyway, and we've had, well, I say I've had the game, but we have only ever played it together. We've had it for 4 years.
You've had it 4 years.
I've had it 4 years.
I've played it once. I'm not going to. Oh, they've announced, or they're
And we've
about
only
to
got
announce
done
the new
2
one.
extra chapters. We're only on chapter 7 out of 27.
And they're about to announce the new one. So that's how far behind.
But there's just one that it's my least favourite and favourite.
Yep.
And just because of, people will probably guess I like Pokemon. It's
Wait,
the Elite
what?
Four.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's the Elite Four the Elite Four's in majority of the games
Yeah.
anyway. But it was the Elite Four in Pokemon Red, because that was the one I had. Ben had
The wrong one. Ben
Ben
had
had blue.
the correct
no,
one.
I had the correct one.
Right.
I had yellow.
Right.
Yeah. Really just start off.
Late to the
I
party.
had
But it was, especially because it came out 1998,
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
so I would have probably been 11.
Don't ask
10.
me. I'm not you.
Yeah, 11, 10. But it was just the accumulation of all your work. You trained up all your Pokemon, and then you were literally at the end game. And because it was essentially, what's the term? It's a wrestling, a gauntlet.
Yeah,
It was a gauntlet. You had to defeat them. And it was a trial and error.
Am I right in thinking if you say lost to the third one, you had to go back and do the
start
first
all
one
again.
So it was
Yeah.
a trial and error. So you had to stock up on your max revives and your potions, because they were also going to be using max revives. Well, they weren't going to use. I don't think they used max revives.
No, I don't think they
But
used
used
max
max
revives.
potions. But it was essentially you had to have a strong enough team to defeat 5 trainers, because there was your rival. 5 trainers,
Yeah.
all with 6 Pokemon.
Depending on what you called him.
It was just it was a tactic game as
Yeah.
well. But
to
it
get
was
through
just
to the very end of
the
that.
most
was
satisfying
very-
the first time you did it, but once you'd done it,
That was
then you would
it.
have got Mewtwo, and then they were a walk in the park.
Yeah.
I kept my Squirtle unevolved for the entire game, and the only way I could beat the Elite Four was letting him evolve into Wartortle, then Blastoise, and I was gutted. I did it, but it was a bittersweet victory. It reminds me of have you ever played Shining Force? It's a very old RPG.
No, I don't think I
I don't
have.
know if I have. I'm not
So
sure.
The final bottle. Oh, I wish I
We
had
are
the
not
final
drinking.
bottle.
We've got tea.
The final boss of this was kind of. It was a game about the villain trying to awaken a demon, and you have to stop him. So the final boss is the villain's sidekick, then the villain, and then this final boss. And this final boss is this 3-headed dragon who spawns enemies out of holes. So much in the same way when we play D&D, it's about positioning your characters in certain places. You have to position 2 characters on these holes to stop it spawning anything, and then attack all 3 heads. And each head was a separate enemy, and each head could one-hit kill you, and each head had a higher HP than any enemy in the game so far. Bit of a pain in the ass. So you're going to go for this battle. If you lose, you go right back, not only to the beginning sidekick boss, you go all the way back to the last village you saved in. Like, any game that brutal now, like things like Dark Souls, you lose,
Dark
you go back
Souls,
to that
yeah.
save point, but you're quite close.
Just on the Dark Souls and Bloodborne, we haven't mentioned them,
because no one here has played them.
No.
And the person that has played them is currently in the Maldives.
Yes.
Which is why
He
we
is.
chose this week to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure we'll have a Dark Souls Bloodborne
Talk.
conversation at some point.
Yes.
I might play the first one if I ever have time to play anything ever again. My life is taken up with Red Dead, and then it's going to be Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
And I sat down in front of my Xbox the other day and thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play something different. I'm not going to play Red Dead. I'm going to sit down and play something different. Yeah, I'm going to bed. I didn't know what to do. I just couldn't pick. So I just went to bed.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else there is to play at the moment apart from
unless you
shooters.
unless you go back and play or go down the indie game route.
Funny you should bloody say that.
I know.
Because I was thinking, I might play some indie games, but there were no indie games to play. But that takes us on to our movie of the week this week, in which we watched a documentary about indie games called Indie Game the Movie.
Indeed.
We would just like to say, because we missed out last week's podcast, the shoot 'em up talk didn't happen.
Yes.
However, I just say I didn't like the film. There we go.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it
I
was
just-
just
it was-
supposed to be a bit of fun.
Yeah,
was a bit of
was
fun, it was
very
weird.
humour.
Mhm.
The carrot was quite shocking. What he can do with a carrot.
The movie opens up with him punching a carrot down the back of someone's throat
Yeah.
without the back of their head. How can you not like it?
Yeah, I was literally like, oh, he's just going to sort of like shove it in his mouth and that's it. And then, no, it came through the back of his head.
It's the most ridiculous film
It was
ever
Yeah.
made.
ridiculous
That isn't
film.
called Crank.
But it is in complete contrast to the film that we watched. Well, I watched it this afternoon.
Yes, I watched
which
it.
is
the other
the
day.
indie game, which follows the release of Super Meat Boy.
So it follows three very well-known indie games.
Yeah,
It follows Braid about a year after its release. It follows Super Meat Boy on its release.
Yep.
And then Fez
Fez.
about a year before it's released. So I mean, if we talk about them in... Because that game kind of splits up the narrative. If we talk about the game,
That
the
movie.
film talks about them in split. But if we talk about maybe each game and the story of each
Yeah.
game, we started Braid because that wasn't mentioned as much.
No, there was less of it, and I have to mention here that I hate you and love you all at the same time because I've had to watch this film today while at work in between jobs, and it's something that I'm going to have to go back and sit down and properly watch because it is fantastic. It
was-
is really,
yeah.
Well
really
made
good.
documentary.
Oh god, yeah.
It was released in 2012 as well, so obviously since then,
Oh god, yeah.
which we'll get to when we talk about Fez, a lot has happened with that, which we'll get to. But you say so Braid is
Now, you did your Xbox Game Pass
Yes.
video, and you said people should play this game.
absolutely
Now, I haven't played Braid.
Mhm.
No, neither have I.
Your Xbox Game Pass video made me want to watch,
play
Braid.
Braid. It is very good.
The video here with the guy talking about how he's developed this and it's his passion and he's put his heart and soul into this made me want to go and get the game.
Yeah, so I suppose you would maybe explain what an indie game is, because
So an indie game. So you've got in contrast, an indie game, you've got your EAs, your Activisions, and your
your
Ubisofts.
big publishers.
You've got your big publishers where, they even said it in the film, the last Red Dead Redemption, in contrast to the new Red Dead Redemption, they've had over 1,000 people working on
it,
that
yeah.
game, and it's 8 years since the last one, so there's been 1,000 people working 8 years to bring us
One game.
what is a fantastic,
Yeah.
beautiful game
Yep.
of Red Dead Redemption 2.
100 hours. and-
Yeah, 100-hour days and 100-hour days.
Yeah.
Got a time machine. But then an indie game, it's one or two or three guys sat up in a garage
Mhm.
or something originally
Yes, the way it was originally done,
Programming.
but yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And they said that the whole reason the indie game genre came about was because of digital media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You could-
digital media created an outlet for these people.
You could download these small games. And people, I think at the time when Braid came out, it was 2009, 2010. So it was just when the burnout started happening on things like Call of Duty was every year, Assassin's Creed was every year, FIFA was every year. There's all these big games that everyone's been playing for years, and then this small little game comes along for less than a tenner. And
It would have been Microsoft points back then as well.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
it was.
800 Microsoft points, which was about it was about
£3,
five, £6. Yeah. And along comes this little one man made this game on his own over the course of 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's a little side-scrolling game where when you to solve puzzles, you rewind time, and if you've never played it, I would absolutely suggest it. I've not finished it.
It looks good. The character just reminds me of a Hobbit.
Yeah.
So I thought it was something going to be related to the Hobbit, but it's not. It's very much. It's got the time element, which seems to be in a lot of games. It's even in Forza Horizon 4, the rewind time thing.
Well, that's been in Forza for a while, but still.
It just watching it felt like a peaceful game to play.
It is,
and a very Mario-ish.
What I found
Platformer.
found fascinating about what he said was about making this game was he spent years making this game, put it out. It was one of the most successful games to that point,
And then he was
depressed. It depressed him about releasing this game. Yeah,
It depressed him because people weren't.
people loved the game, but not in the way he wanted them to. People
They
weren't
didn't see it in the way that he envisioned the game wasn't exactly what people were getting.
Yeah,
They were loving it,
and
they loved the game, but unfortunately, it wasn't the way that he wanted it, which depressed him.
yeah. There's even a clip of, I think it's Soldier Boy in this one. There's a clip of Soldier Boy playing. It goes, "Oh, look at the little dude! You fall, and then you rewind, and then all his mates, his crew, they're going, whoa!" when he rewinds time. And they're loving the game, but even Soldier Boy says, "I don't know what the point of the game is. You just do this, and it's great." And he was kind of like, well, there is a point to the game.
You got to build the world.
I created this narrative, and put my soul and effort into this, and everyone's loving the game, but they're not understanding the point I'm trying to make. So he had huge success, but it's almost like not in the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's like, and some people say, yeah, but you've had huge success. Why does it matter? But if you ever created anything, you want the thing you're trying to say to come across.
Yeah.
But so I definitely think it's a game that I should play. But again, it's finding the time to play a game that's essentially been out nearly a decade now.
That's a good thing about indie games is they're short.
They are short.
So you're
they
not
mentioned them
dedicating-
in the video. In the last year, I have played Limbo, Inside.
Inside is amazing.
I'm trying to think if Ori was an indie game originally.
I think no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. You could say it's an indie game. It's got that feel, but it was
very
Microsoft. Yeah.
But but the next game was
Super Meat
Meat
Boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
and I genuinely liked the two guys who
Yeah.
were making this game.
Wow, they were such contrasting people.
Yeah.
One of them was really happy-go-lucky, and the other one I thought might actually kill himself by the end of it.
Yeah,
He was. He was not happy.
The document.
raging about, and I was thinking when he was raging in that giant beanbag, I was thinking, one, I want that giant beanbag. Two, Xbox don't normally update. Fair enough, they're in America, so normally when Xbox updates in America, it's updated. But being in the UK, when they say it's going to be out on Tuesday, for me that means it's going to be out
Tuesday
on
night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Or
Yeah, but
Wednesday
it's just
morning.
Wednesday for us.
Yeah. So, when it's a worldwide release, then I think it comes out the same time every country. But he was like having such a panic that it's not there.
Yeah,
There's such a
the,
meltdown because of it.
the documentary opens with him on like the morning of release,
Going.
looking through Xbox Live, going, "My game's not here. Oh, we're screwed. That's it. I'm gonna kill myself. The game's not there. Everything's doomed."
And then the other guy's just sitting there watching what looked like Boobarella eating cornflakes with his wife, or she's shopping for a cat.
Yeah.
So it's complete contrast, and he was like there. It felt like if he hadn't been doing the project with him,
Yeah.
then certainly he would have killed himself. Which obviously goes on to the next guy who was
We will get to Phil Fish.
But I have never played Super Meat Boy.
No, neither have I.
So I felt like
I need to go and play that game.
The only one on this film I haven't played is I haven't played Fez, or I maybe played the first level. But I played Super Meat Boy. Man, that's an annoying game.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy Forever's out later. But I'm going to say next year now.
All right, cool.
So they've actually spent, since then, they've been doing.
I assume they've got a bigger team now.
You would assume so, because what did they say? Well, he was explaining it. He says if a game earns 5 million, that's 2.5 million each, obviously, they
Yeah.
don't get that. Microsoft get a percentage.
So
of it, like
so
30%.
anything Microsoft invested in the game, the people who made the game don't see a penny until
They paid
Microsoft have made back their investment. So you don't see how much that's going to be, but it was always going to be for the first time indie game. It's always going to be more than
risk.
you've ever. He said, in 24 hours, I've earned 3 times as much as I earned in the last 6 years. Yeah,
6
Which
years,
is
yeah.
good if you'd earn, say, 15 grand a year, then that's quite a decent amount of money.
it was funny watching the guy. I think it was Edmund was the guy who was stressing out. He,
Yeah,
he checks it in the morning, has a meltdown, and then goes, "That's it, I'm done," and goes and hides in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to
At
see
4
anything.
a.m. in the morning. was
Yeah,
it?
4 in the morning, and he's like, he's in this restaurant hiding away. He's like, I'm doomed. It's all a mess. It's all a mistake. The other guy's chilling, eating his cornflakes, just watching the sales come in, trying to call this guy, and then,
He wasn't even watching the sales. He was like, he said, I'll wait till Microsoft contact me.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
went- And then Microsoft contact him and says, have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have
Yeah.
you seen it? And he's like, as of like 5 minutes ago, we were at 9,500.
Yeah.
We need 500 more people to buy.
And
It's
that's
only been out 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
And 10,000 for them.
Is it
10,000
good?
a success on the first day.
Braid was the game that did 10,000 in the first day,
Yeah.
and
They
then
did
yeah,
15,000.
they did 15, 16,000 in the first day. And
Which is
Well, they did
phenomenal,
15,000 by 4 o'clock on the first
Yeah.
day.
And he, when he find out he's successful, he calls the other guy, the guy who's hiding out in the restaurant.
Yeah.
He calls him and goes, "We've done this much money. We've done really well. Have you seen the people online playing the game? They're getting really
And that's when
angry.
You see him get.
How would you feel?" And the other guy goes, "I want to go to sleep." Because the amount of like work they put in to hit this deadline to get it out on this featured list on Microsoft, and just like they were literally like sleeping 3 hours a day, sat in front of a computer, just coding.
What he was saying
This
that
game.
he was staying up all night and he was getting to bed about 9 and 10 in the morning, and then getting up at about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and then just cracking on and getting it done all the way through the night again. This guy's diabetic.
Yeah.
That is not healthy.
No.
He didn't look healthy
No.
at the end.
No.
And all that for something that he was eventually going to put that out in front of people, and people could just go, "Nah,
Yeah.
what," and just not go near it and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hate it. It could be a complete disaster.
It could have been a complete flop.
And it wasn't. Super Meat Boy did really, really well, and I've played it a bit, and it's good. It's like
It's insanely hard.
yeah, it's very hard. It's a little platformer, and every time you fail and die, when you start again, your ghost of your last character does exactly what they did.
Another game like that. I can't remember what it is though.
But so if you take 100 goes, by the end of it, you've got like 100 Meat Boys jumping around
Yeah.
on the screen with you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some. Because what was it that we played? It was an indie game. Battle Block Theatre, didn't that have?
It did not, but that was a great game.
That was a great
Battle Block
game.
Theatre is a very great little co-op puzzle platformer, which me and John, we only got halfway through before we had an argument, and that was the end of that.
Well, I'm not surprised you got halfway through before we had an argument, to be
Well, I mean,
perfectly
okay,
honest.
it's a game in which you could throw, you could reach out and grab, like your partner could jump and you could reach and grab them.
Yeah, well, what did you do? You threw me into spikes?
No, I waited for him to get really close and just move my hand away. And he'd fall into spikes of water. Like, Aaron, stop fucking around! I'm not! I'm seriously trying to grab you. Honest.
No.
Or you can
No,
throw them.
well, he's not, because I know Harry. But at the same time, I would be doing exactly
Yes.
the same thing.
Yes. Yes.
The next game was
Oh, man.
Fez.
Fez.
Now, you wanted to play Fez when it came out. You never. I don't think you ever bought
I
it.
didn't quite know.
So Fez is a 2D puzzle game.
With 3D elements.
Yeah, so you kind of go left to right along the level.
It
but
looks
then-
like a great.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's done well.
It's a very good game.
Yeah,
it is a very
it's
good
done
game.
Very well.
The person who made it, however, Phil Fish. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw. When you're watching it, it obviously very Wild West kind of hair with these big mutton chops
Yeah.
that came down
Yeah.
here. I did sympathise with him in regards to the situation that he was waiting just for a signature and this thing couldn't go ahead because it's essentially. It could have been like any one of us can't go on holiday until someone signs off. You go on
And you're
holiday,
waiting in
and
the
you're
airport.
and
Yeah.
then they don't sign off on it.
Yeah.
So I do get why he was frustrated, but he openly admitted to the documentary people that if this game is not a success, he was going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Okay.
He's very. I mean, while he's sat in the hotel, so he's got this game convention. He's going to go to his game convention. He's going to show off the build of his game. We'll get to that bit. He's going to show off his game, but he can't show off his game if his ex-business partner, because he couldn't get along with his ex-business partner, they fell out. So the game he was making, he lost 2 business partners over in quick succession. This game he was making, if his ex-partner didn't sign off on it, he couldn't display the game, and therefore he'd lose all the interest that people had in it.
Can we just point out as well, he lost his ex-gaming partners after a considerable amount of time working with them.
Yeah.
And this game took years and years to come out.
4 years, because he restarted it 3 times.
3 times. All because he got better at drawing stuff.
Yes.
He got better at drawing stuff, so he started the game again.
That's what a sequel's for. And he even did
Exactly.
to be honest, he did even admit this. He went, "This is technically Fez 4,"
Yeah.
which I laughed at.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do something like that, again, as John says, sequel it. Get better. So you're just looking and you're proving that you're getting better, so the game's getting better. There's no need to just keep restarting the game.
Instead of being a
You're just
perfectionist.
You're causing yourself so much stress.
And they showed that side by side of his first lot of art and his second lot of art, and both of it looked fine. Yes, the second lot looked better.
Yeah.
But the first lot looked fine.
Yeah. it's an indie game being made by, was it one person?
Well, it was one by the end.
It would have been 2 or 3 people, but he couldn't stop being annoying. Yeah.
Still got $1 million from it.
So,
well,
No, it made like 2 million or something.
it did.
And I think Microsoft got 50% of that.
if Microsoft and other people have to get their money back, I don't know the exact ins and outs of it because I haven't looked into it.
Yeah.
But
He when he's waiting for his business partner to sign, he says, if he doesn't sign, if he comes around and looks at the game, I'm going to murder him in cold.
Yeah.
In front of a documentary crew.
in front of cameras,
He says, I'm going to murder, and he looked serious.
he
He
I
very
kind of wanted
clearly
him to show up.
he very clearly couldn't deal with criticism very well. I think when the game came out, he won. It's right there. He won the Artificial Mind and Movement Award for his game. He won an award for the game because the game's very good. He won an award for it when it eventually came out. But then when people were on Twitter going, "Oh, you're a bit of a penis," he was like smug about it. He was saying, "I deserve this award." Suck my dick, anyone who said I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, he announced Fez 2.
Yep.
And then after a month, because he got into an argument with a reporter, he cancelled the game.
So that reporter basically said, so the reporter went to him for his input on indie games, because you've made a successful indie game. I want your input on my article. And he said, I don't want to talk to you. So this reporter then went online and started going, "Oh, Phil Fish is a dickhead, he's an asshole," because he should be telling us what he thinks the game is because he's the person who made a game. And that's not
really how it works.
If he doesn't want to talk to you, you shouldn't do that. However, Phil Fish didn't take that well and just started this online tirade of, arguing with Twitter trolls.
Yeah.
And he got too involved in the social media talking and ended up going, "Fine, you're all bullying me. I'm not making Fez 2. I'm never making games again." And that was it. Gone. And you can tell that from his personality in this documentary, how he didn't take criticism well.
Because he was moaning at. Fair enough. He said it's a test and it wasn't being built, which is fine. That's why there was a game-breaking bug, because he decided to edit the game the night before.
The anxiety in that moment, when the first person starts playing the game and the game just breaks
instantly,
and then people are coming, the game just keeps breaking. I've never felt.
Well, the thing is, with that, I was thinking, maybe it's just because it's so many people are playing it. Then he fesses up on camera to saying, "I made so many changes last night.
At the last minute, I couldn't leave it alone, and now we've got an unstable build."
Yeah,
and you're just thinking,
reset
you are
the
at a massive conference over in the USA. You've got hundreds of people that could get interested in your game, and they could just be literally build up all this praise, and then you build something, you mess with it, and then people can't enjoy it.
It's actually in Canada, just by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you see him talking at the very beginning of the documentary. You see him talking French to another guy he's working with. And then that other guy he's working with is not in the rest of the documentary because somewhere in between filming, he was like, "I'm off. This guy's a nightmare to work with," and he never got.
Yeah, but I do feel for him because he was saying when people keep asking me, "Oh, what's wrong with the game?" Blah blah blah. But it's still being developed, and it took another year after this to be developed. Now, fair enough. I know nothing about programming or anything like that. So, if the game's won awards and been a financial success, then he obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He did cut out. Like, again, don't know the guy, but I felt more like I wanted to go buy Super Meat Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those guys are
From
really
that,
likeable.
Just watching that documentary, because it was the Unravel situation. Remember when we watched EA?
Unravel,
and the
yeah.
guy came out really, really, really nervous.
Yeah,
and was
bless him.
like, I've made this game, it's woolly, and he comes out with this little
character he
woolly
made.
character.
And I went
That
on
was
holiday
like,
with
that's
him,
so
and I took
cute.
pictures, and I want to make.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh, that guy's really nice. I want to play his game and play his game." And his game was amazing.
His game was
Yeah,
amazing.
oh God,
Very,
it
very
was.
short.
Unravel is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Unravel 2's come out, but we haven't.
I mean, I'm not. We'll play it when it's not £16, basically.
Yeah.
And
But
there's no-
it'll be in
EA access. Yeah.
EA access.
That's the problem with EA games nowadays is I don't want to buy any of them because I pay £20 a year for the games I never play any EA games. It's a bit of a waste of money, even though it's only £20 a year.
Well, no, we used to play.
We used to play some of them.
I'm going to cancel my subscription, to be honest, this year because I used to play
I have
so
this year,
many
yeah.
EA games. But EA have been destroyed. This is the thing with EA. They will pump out games no matter what.
And this is exactly
But
why
this is
indie games are required so heavily in the games industry, because indie games are all about taking somebody's passion, turning it into a game, and making a little passionate experience that you can enjoy. You go from start to end of this game.
And it's great. But it reminds me at least anyway, of my childhood games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
those ones you just got so invested in and it's so good. Even though they're short, they were great. And unfortunately, companies...
Loot
like we
boxes.
and loot boxes and things.
Cosmetics.
And it's just all about that stuff. Let's make as much money as possible, and how can we do it that's just...
People like Star Wars. Let's bleed as much money out of Star Wars.
I think
films
they've
as
had that
we
right to
possibly
Gotham
can.
now.
That's changed. That I will admit that they listened to people eventually and took out all of that stuff.
It was damage was done there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, damage was
They
completely
left it in FIFA though, because the FIFA community.
Buy the stuff.
I suppose the FIFA gamers, most of them aren't like they don't play a lot of games. People buy consoles just to buy FIFA every year.
Yeah.
So they're happy to pump hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in these fake cards for this FIFA Ultimate Team. And they
You
spend
say fake card.
thousands.
It's the cards you get in this Ultimate Team to make your Ultimate Team better. Now, they do it for FIFA. They do it for Madden.
NBA.
NBA.
I haven't played the NBA, but I'm just guessing.
You
it's
can
the
just
same.
say the sports game.
And it's
UFC as well.
literally, yeah.
UFC do it as well. Yeah.
So it's...
And it's just a money farm.
Did you play The Witness?
No.
Oh,
No.
I played The Witness.
Because that was done by the guy that made what is
Braid.
it? Braid.
Jonathan Blow, yeah.
I was just thinking, because I was getting confused with The Witness and the one with the cat that you played.
Beyond Eyes.
Eyes.
Beyond
Which,
Eyes.
That's obviously an indie.
That is definitely an indie game. It's one of the best indie games I've ever
That is
played.
play that. I do need to
Saddest.
play that.
So, without spoiling the ending,
Yeah.
I played it and I went, "Ooh, Kate will really like that game." And I made Kate play it, and I got a bit of abuse afterwards. It's a game where
You're playing as
It's
cat, aren't
very
you?
No,
beautiful. No, it's
You
a very
play-
beautiful
you play as a
game.
blind girl.
Oh, yeah.
And you play as a blind girl, and the world is just pure white, and the
God,
level
yeah.
the level only appears in as sounds are made, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you have to like follow a stream to get down to get around, and you follow bird
Yeah,
chirps
it's
and
like
people
as you're
talking.
walking around, it's like watercolours, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
sort of like it's
Yeah.
painted a picture of where you are.
Your cat goes missing, so you're trying to find your cat, so you're following the sound of your cat.
Yeah.
The bell on the cat.
And the bell on the cat. And there's a good level where it starts raining so heavy that it drowns out all the external sound, and you have to get around this world without being able to see anything. And it's a short game unless you get completely lost like I did. It has a very good ending. It's a very, very, very good game. It's probably only like I know. In fact, it's on sale on Xbox now for £2.50.
Beautiful.
It is
That's the
really
sort of thing that I'll
Very,
pick up
very
and
good
play.
game. Very,
So,
very good game.
And to be honest, I'm gonna have to pick up Super Meat Boy.
I
Because
think I've got it. I'm sure I've
it's
already got it.
just watching that film. It's just made me really want to play it, just because
Yeah.
they are such likable guys.
Yeah. So that was Indie Game the movie. Did we enjoy it? Was it,
Oh,
was it
God,
I
for,
enjoyed
for a
it.
change
I-
pace?
It was a different change pace.
Yeah, for a
Just
maybe a change
because I had to watch it while at work today, I'm going to actually probably go back and revisit that at some point when I've got time
So
and watch it properly.
next week for our game of the week, since it is the first week of
Game of
December.
the week.
Sorry, I don't know.
Movie.
We've talked about so many games this week. I'm on games. For movie of the week next week, we're going to go with a bit of a universally liked one. Since Mike's away, we're going to have an easy one. It's the first week of December, so it's slightly Christmassy, and we're going to talk about animals next week. So it's kind of animals. We're going to watch Gremlins,
Yes! Yes!
Which Gremlins?
the first one.
The first
Oh,
one.
no,
Yes!
what you've got time to watch
Thank
both
you.
of them? Watch both of them. We'll talk about both of them.
Oh.
But I just figured since it's coming up to Christmas, didn't want to pick a Christmas film. We're talking about animals.
I love that.
Technically, Mike's turn to choose a
Gizmo.
film, but Mike's not going to be here to talk about it. So we'll just have we'll watch Gremlins and have a chat
Oh,
about
I love
Gremlins
it.
next week.
I do love it.
So here's the bit John's been waiting for. So every week at the end of the podcast, Mike has a game called Guess the Character, where he gives us 5 or 6 clues, one or two word clues about a character.
Like
Crap
face
clues.
paints.
For face paint.
Don't get me started.
You have so like last week or the week before it was the Joker.
Yeah.
And he gave us like some words. One of the clues was face paint, and we got it. I currently have a 5-1 lead, and whoever by the end of the year has the most points wins. So John has to win every week now to beat me. And this week he gets an advantage because I'm the one running the game. I can't possibly.
No, you can't possibly.
So you have 2 guesses. If your 2 guesses are wrong, you're out.
Okay.
We'll start with the first clue. Hero. Second clue. Delusional.
Rorschach?
No. That's 1 for John. You've only got 1 guess left. Third clue. Astronaut. Ooh. Go on.
Oh, no, what's his name now?
4th clue. Plastic.
Yeah, it's Mr. Fantastic. No, what's his name? Oh, that's going to irritate me now.
Buzz Lightyear.
There you go!
Oh. Yeah.
So it's
No,
now,
that wasn't what we were
It's
thinking
now-
of.
now 5-2, John. And you've got another 3 to go.
I like how he kept looking at me as if to say, "You can
It's a goddamn Disney character.
I think I did. The Rorschach one was very out there.
Well, it was,
What was
yeah.
the next clues?
The next clue would have been infinity,
Yeah.
and the last clue would have been beyond. So that's it for the Overthinking Media podcast this week. Mike has a nice little outro that he does, but I forgot to write that down.
For more Overthinking Media, follow us at
For more Overthinking at Overthinking Media,
There we
follow
go.
us at our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace if you really want to. Make sure you watch Gremlins, and we'll be back next week. Something.